Taste New York just celebrated its 10th anniversary, and today on News Bytes, we're going to talk about just how successful this program has been for farmers. Hi, I'm Steve Ammerman, Director of Communications for New York Farm Bureau, and welcome to News Bytes. So you've probably been driving down the Thruway or maybe visited a New York ballpark and you've seen the signs for Taste New York and wondered, well, what is it? Well, it's a great marketing program that supports food grown right here in our state. The program has grown in a lot of different ways over the past decade, and today we're going to speak with Jessica Henesy, who manages the program for New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets. And she's going to share with us just how much it has meant to farmers and how you can get involved if you're interested. Well, Jessica, thanks so much for being on News Bytes today. We really appreciate your time and talking about a really great program for our farmers. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So Taste New York, it's a program that it's been around for a decade. What is it? If somebody really isn't familiar with the phrase Taste New York, they might see it as they're driving down the Thruway or see it on a sign at some entertainment venue. But really, what is Taste New York?
So I always go back to our mission statement when I describe it. It's a program that's dedicated to highlighting the quality, diversity, and economic impact of food and beverages that are grown, produced, or processed in New York State. So as a broader, I guess, kind of way to describe the program, at its heart, I would say it's a marketing initiative, right? Our goal is to spotlight and bring attention to food and beverages that are grown in New York State. We've expanded to gift items too, so it's food, beverages, and gifts. And we do that through retail outlets. We've got markets all across the state in our welcome centers and some standalone markets. We do it through trade shows, events, really anywhere that you can spotlight New York State food, bev, and ag. Is where we like to put Taste New York. It's just a good opportunity to know that what you're getting is a New York State product.
Absolutely. And I will say New York food products make for great gifts. I'll just put it out there.
Yeah.
That's something, a lot of people don't think about. And for whatever the occasion, you can't go wrong with good food and beverages.
No, just a great equalizer. Everybody loves food.
Absolutely. So what qualifies to be a part of the program?
So it's anything that's grown, produced, or processed in New York State. So we have a wide variety of products in the program, obviously agricultural food products, but it's expanded into the gift areas too. So you'll find like artwork, literature, fiber products, anything that's made in New York State qualifies for the program. And then of course, food and beverages as well.
And I'm assuming the food and beverages make up the bulk of what's in the program?
So when we look at it from like our retail perspective, we ask our market operators to carry 80% food and beverage, just because that is kind of what we're promoting, right, through Taste New York. But we give 20% of that shelf space to gift producers as well. So that might be agricultural bath and beauty products, the fiber products, again, artwork, literature, those types of things that are also really important to the New York State economic system.
Absolutely. Totally. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So now this is part of a program through the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets runs Taste New York, and that's who you work for as well. What is your role in the program?
So for the last 4.5 years, I've been managing the program, so assisting our retail market operators with operations and marketing. My role expanded into kind of overseeing the whole program, so working with producers on trade shows and events, the Great New York State Fair, just anywhere really that you see Taste New York, I'm involved in some capacity.
Well, that's a busy job because I know there are a lot of venues and it keeps growing. In fact, you just celebrated your 10th anniversary this year. So happy anniversary. That's a big milestone. But also, how has the program evolved over those past 10 years? I remember when it started under Governor Cuomo, it was just, like you said, a way to highlight it and market New York products, and obviously adding gifts. That's another component. But how big has it become over the past 10 years?
Yeah, so in 2013, it launched as a marketing program that focused a lot on events. So it launched with the PGA tournament, which kind of fun. We were able to do that again in 2023. So that was like a nice full 10-year circle for that event to be part of. It started also with the Great New York State Fair, the Summer Fancy Food Show, and the Adirondack Challenge. Since then, it's expanded into retail storefronts. We've got a Taste New York market and all of the welcome centers across the state. You have some standalone markets like Taste New York Todd Hill, Taste New York at the Equal Rights Heritage Center, Taste New York at Front Street in Binghamton. So while the program still has a large place at the Great New York State Fair and, of course, the PGA tournament, we've also expanded into partnerships with parks, different transportation hubs. We do trade shows, events. We work with other agencies that may be having some sort of conference or want to spotlight Taste New York producers to their attendees. We've expanded to SUNY relationships. So there's this partnership with SUNY Cobleskill that's been really great. The Taste New York market at Grand Central Terminal just reopened. And then over the course of the 10 years, of course, the program has helped to bring $100 million in impact to New York State producers. So it's grown a lot. There's a lot that goes on, and it's constantly bringing in new producers and new vendors and new opportunities for them. So it's really cool.
$100 million. That's substantial. I mean, do you have the numbers of, the past couple of years versus that first year or so in terms of how much it's grown on in terms of economic value? Can you make that comparison?
Yeah, I mean, in the first couple of years, it was smaller. We might see like $1 to $1.5 million in impact. Pre-COVID, we're close to, I think, $20 million or $21 million in impact, and then took a little bit of a dive.
Yeah, people weren't out and about. They couldn't go and stop at the Welcome Center and buy something.
Exactly. But then now it's just on the back to the growth levels that it was pre-pandemic. So it's really exciting to see the program has maintained. All the markets were able to stay open during the COVID period, which I think was really important to some of those smaller producers that really lost a venue for their sales of their distribution at that time. So it was really great to be able to remain a support system for them, even during that time, which was, I think, as we all are well aware and talked about, like very impacted by. So that was a really unique way to be supportive of the industry.
What I really like about it, so, we met about a few weeks ago at the Welcome Center on the Thruway near the Coxsackie exit. And we were with some people who really didn't know a lot about agriculture as part of a tour that we were going on. And what I think is really special about Taste New York is it's not just an opportunity to buy something that's produced in New York. It's an opportunity to learn something about New York and New York agriculture, because so many people don't perceive New York as being a farm state, and we are in many, many ways. So what has customer reaction been like, and how important is it for you that they make that connection to agriculture?
I think the connection to agriculture is probably one of the most important things that we do. Obviously, we want to make sure that when you're coming to a Taste New York market, you understand why these products are so special and what the story is behind them. A lot of the times they are smaller producers. We like to look at the retail markets as kind of like an incubator space. So a lot of the times there's smaller producers that are looking to kind of get their feet wet into the retail system and the food systems. So that constant engagement and communication with customers so they understand what New York ag is, what New York agricultural products are, and how to draw that connection between the Taste New York branding and what the meaning is it's an ongoing conversation that I think the staff and all the markets love to have with customers that are coming through. It's conversations that we at the department level love to have when we're out and about trade shows or events. At this point, we are kind of doing a grassroots sort of customer engagement survey where we're going to all the markets and asking people point blank, how important is local food to you? How important is having access to things like the Taste New York markets? What brought you in? What are you excited about? The response has been largely positive. Those are still ongoing, so we're looking to really pull them all together. But it's been great to have those conversations and see how the brand has affected people and how people are responding to it.
And that can provide you data on how the program could change even more or grow even more to fit the customer demands and interests. So that's great that you're doing that. You mentioned that your staff has those conversations. Do you talk to your staff about the New York connections and farming connections? I mean, is that part of their work experience as well?
I think it's just rooted in their overall program mission. A lot of our markets are operated by Cornell Cooperative Extensions, which is great because agricultural mission, it's a perfect fit. Some of them are operated by TPAs or tourism agencies. So that's great because they're really having the connection with customers to get them excited about going out into New York State in general and seeing what they have to offer. So I just think those are conversations that they're excited to have. And again, it's rooted in their association mission. So it just continues.
You mentioned a minute ago the farmers' stories. Do you have a couple of stories that stand out of somebody who started to participate in the Taste of New York program and it's really helped them, grown with them, a success story, if you will? Do you have a couple of those that you could share?
Yeah, definitely. There's
I'm sure there are many.
There's so many. It's hard to pick from. So kind of going back to the 10th anniversary, we launched our 10th anniversary events at the Finger Lakes Welcome Center. And that was really cool. We had Tom Murray from Miranda Cheese Company speak, and he made the announcement that the connection that a Delaware North chef had made at the Finger Lakes Welcome Center drove them to his tasting room. The Taste New York market staff pushed them to his tasting room. The chef loved his cheese so much that he ordered it and put them on the menu for, I think, about 30,000 cheese boards at the PGA tournament. So that was a really cool connection for our program to have made for a local producer. And then there's I mentioned our relationship with Cornell Cooperative Extension. I see that as a really huge success story. Obviously, Cornell does so much for ag producers across the state, but having those relationships in the markets, they've been able to help with marketing, labeling, helping those producers learn how to scale up, or if there's a new producer that's going through some product development, connecting them to Cornell Agritech so they could do product testing and development and get their product in packaging and ready to reach retail markets as well. So I think there's probably a very long chain of success stories that can be pulled from out of there. There's farmers who have reported that the visibility in the markets has helped them scale their personal or their on-farm businesses, I should say, to increase production levels, to expand, significant economic impact to those locations. Cornell helped some Amish farmers that were interested in finding new market for their shiitake mushrooms to connect them with a shiitake mushroom sauce maker who now is sourcing New York State mushrooms for their mushroom sauce, which is now on the Taste New York shelves, and they're picking up larger distribution through that. So there's a lot of those kind of stories that happen on a day-to-day basis and those connections that we're driving. So it's really cool.
Really gratifying to know that your work is really helping these small businesses and these small farms grow like that.
Yeah, definitely. It really is. I feel like a lot of us are kind of vying for the spot of the best job in the state, and I think working for New York is the best job.
I think you're definitely in the running. Absolutely. So the economic impact, and I think you have discussed that a bit, especially with that $100 million figure. But again, something that maybe people don't associate with. They think, all right, New York agriculture, okay, that means local food, but it does mean local dollars. It means small businesses that can grow and then support other small businesses and their tax base. So, making again that connection to New York agriculture and New York economy is important. Is that part of the mission as well for Taste New York to support our local economies?
So we often talk about the multiplier effect of the products that we're producing, because it not only touches the actual producer and the farmer that's making it, but we're looking at how that affects, the production facilities that are making the product, how it's affecting the distribution chain from the delivery drivers into the market, to the packaging, to the marketing. There's just so many different components of the food system that these products hit from production to shelf. So we're definitely looking at how that's impacting the economy in a larger way.
And again, you can't reiterate it enough that $100 million figure, that's not pocket change. How do you see it to continue to evolve? You had 10 years. I'm sure you're looking to the next 10 years. If you could wave your wand and see, what it could become, how it could grow, what are some of those things that maybe you're thinking of or, you'd like to see?
I always say that I want Taste New York to remain, again, at its heart, it is a marketing program. And I think the visibility to New York State producers is so important. So we don't want to lose sight of how this program is kind of giving that avenue for, again, as an incubator project where they can learn how to produce, develop, and market their products and scale up to reach larger distribution. But I also envision the program becoming a really great vendor resource. So helping those producers that are entering into product development connect to agritech, helping them learn more about marketing and labeling, just continuing education on a smaller, not on a smaller scale, but on a
small level that, right.
level. Yeah.
So if a farmer is interested in taking part, what are the steps to do that?
So it's a free program. There's no charge to be part of it. The only criteria for our program is grown, produced, or processed in New York State. So as long as you meet one of those 3 metrics, you can take part in the program. And, again, you can reach out to us and we'll help to connect you with either a retail market if you're ready to sell into a Taste New York market, or connect you to, again, those local Cornell Cooperative Extension offices that may be able to help you if you're looking to do some sort of value-added product. Each of the markets, because they are independently operated, if a farmer or a producer is interested in working with them, you would connect directly to each one individually. Okay. And then those all have their own set of applications and requirements, although they're pretty similar across the board. But I like to make sure that everybody understands that it's an individual application process to each of the markets.
It's important to know. And I think, it's nice too, if people are just curious and they see the Taste New York sign, go in and check it out. And it's an easy way to learn more. And again, find the gifts and good food. And in the end, you're supporting local producers.
It's just a great program and a great way to support New York producers and the New York economy.
All right, Jess.
We always like to choose local, buy New York.
Absolutely. That's my motto as well. When you can, always support your local folks. Well, Jessica, thanks so much. We appreciate your time today, and we wish you the best of luck as you continue to move Taste New York forward. And we hope our farmers and others who are listening today will really take advantage of that program.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. And again, if anybody wants to reach out, they can just reach out to tasteny@agriculture.ny.gov.
Very good. Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you.
It really is a great program, and it's fun to go into the stores and just see the diversity of products that are on the shelves. And you feel good knowing that when you're buying them, you're likely supporting a New York producer and farmer. So make sure to check those out next time you're out and about and you see a Taste New York sign or marketplace. Also, I want to give you a reminder that New York Farm Bureau, we're in the middle of planning for our big state convention and annual meeting, which takes place at the end of every year. This year, it's going to be December 3rd through the 5th at Turning Stone Resort Casino in Verona. And the theme is it's an exciting one. It's Farming Forward, Leadership, Innovation, and Diversification. So we're going to be talking about a lot of those themes that actually we talked about today. The farms that are participating in the Taste New York program, they lead and live innovation and diversification on their farms every day. So there's going to be some great workshops and speakers that will talk about those initiatives and how we can support and grow our farms and all of agriculture in New York. So stay tuned for more details that will be coming out in the coming weeks and months on the convention and how you can register. Well, that's it for today's edition of News Bytes. I'd like to thank Seth Moser-Katz for editing the podcast. And as always, make sure to thank a farmer for all that they do.